So we talked about managing up in terms of resetting expectations and even resetting priorities so that people are not burned out. And if they are, how to address it. And if they are not, how to avoid it and get ahead of it by setting clear expectations and providing context. So you talked a little bit about, what we're going to cover there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, when I think about managing up, right, there are so many scenarios that come to mind. One is even before you even think about having to manage up, when you first receive a project or get a direction from your manager, remembering that we can get ahead of some problems by asking some great questions right up front, right? What's your vision for success? How does this look like when what does this look like when it's done right? Do you want to check in on the way, or do you want me to just run with this and give you the end result, kind of like reverse delegation?
Yeah.
What do you need to know from your manager in order for both of you to be happy by the end of the project? So asking the right questions comes to mind as one situation that we're in terms of managing up. Another is setting expectations. You're given a direction or a new project, or a new additional workload for yourself and your team. How do you provide some context to your manager around what the trade-offs you and your team might need to make in order to get that done? When your manager or leader is doing something that's getting in your way and you've got to
Mhm.
give feedback, like
Mhm.
that's a scary one, right? And so talking about how can we create some assertive statements that bring the issue up in a really diplomatic but effective way. That's another thing that we'll be able to talk
Absolutely.
about as well.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when you do this thing, the impact is thus and such. And ideally, what we want is something else. And so,
Yeah, well,
how do we construct those sentences so that we can talk with our managers about what makes our job easier or more successful?
I love that. And I think it's not just that, it's also what do you do before you have that conversation, especially when you're frustrated, and
Absolutely.
making sure that you step aside or you have that conversation, you blow off the steam, you you talk to someone who could say, now, we're not going to say this, we're going to say that. And
That's
I think
exactly
some of
right.
those tips that you're going to provide will help them put those in motion so that they're engaging their managers in a way that's respectful, but also is honest and transparent so they know what's actually happening
That's
and how
right.
it's affecting them. I
It's
love
a
it.
strategic conversation, no matter what, it's strategic. And so how can you make sure that you're being strategic, including, checking yourself before you go in? Yeah.